You walk into Woolworths thinking you are doing a smart shop. Low prices, club card deals, the word fresh everywhere you look. But behind those bright green logos, there are foods on those shelves that have been caught up in recalls, contamination scares, and ingredient lists that would make your grandmother's head spin. Some of them are products you probably buy every single week. Some of them have actually been pulled off shelves in the past because they were considered unsafe for certain groups of Australians, like pregnant women, older people, and anyone with a weaker immune system. Today, we are breaking down the 7 Woolworths foods you may want to stop buying right now, before they quietly keep increasing your risk of food-borne illness without you even realizing. And if you stay with me to the end, I will show you how to still shop at Woolworths, but only put genuinely safer and simpler options in your trolley without blowing your budget. Let us get into it. We have been sold this idea that if it is on a supermarket shelf in Australia, it must be safe. We trust that the big chains, the regulators and the suppliers have all done their job. So when a product has a Woolworths logo, a fresh slogan, and maybe even a health star rating, we relax, we stop reading labels, we stop asking questions. But here is the part nobody really tells you. In the last few years, there have been wave after wave of food recalls in Australia, not just from strange imports or tiny brands, but from mainstream supermarket products like salads, frozen vegetables, ready-to-eat seafood, bread, meat and snacks. We have seen warnings about Listeria bacteria, Salmonella bacteria, dangerous strains of Escherichia coli bacteria, foreign objects like plastic and metal, undeclared allergens, and ultra-processed formulas that are sold as better for you. This is not just one bad batch. It is a system that often seems to reward long shelf life. Low cost and pretty packaging over simple, honest, short-ingredient food. And Woolworths sits right at the heart of that system. So let us start at the bottom of the list and work our way up to the most problematic category of all. Number 7. Woolworths seafood salads and deli ready-to-eat seafood. Seafood salad looks like the perfect light lunch. You see little tubs in the Woolworths refrigerator section with prawns, calamari rings, bits of fish, all mixed with mayonnaise and herbs. You throw it on a roll or on top of a salad, and it feels like a healthier choice than a meat pie or a sausage roll. But here is what most people do not realize. Ready-to-eat chilled seafood salads sit in one of the highest risk categories for bacteria like Listeria monocytogenes. These products are cooked somewhere else, chopped, mixed with sauces, then packed and stored cold for days before you eat them straight out of the tub with no further cooking. If anything in that chain goes wrong, such as temperature, hygiene or cross-contamination, the bacteria have time to grow quietly in the refrigerator while the product still looks completely normal. You cannot see Listeria, you cannot smell it. But for pregnant women, older Australians, and anyone with a weaker immune system, it can be genuinely dangerous. And this is not a theory. Woolworths branded seafood salads have already been recalled in parts of Australia in recent years because of Listeria contamination concerns, with official advice to throw them out or return them. The packaging sells you convenience, with phrases like ready to eat and perfect for sandwiches and salads. What it does not tell you clearly is that this category has a long history of serious contamination alerts and very strict warnings for high-risk groups. So if you have ever grabbed a seafood salad from Woolworths thinking it is the lighter option, ask yourself whether that convenience is worth the extra risk, especially if you are serving it to someone vulnerable. And if you think the danger ends at the chilled section, Number 6 shows that your freezer is not automatically safe either. Number 6. Woolworths Essentials Frozen Mixed Vegetables. A big bag of Woolworths Essentials mixed vegetables feels like the ultimate budget hack. You throw it into a stir-fry, add it to pasta or bulk out a curry. It is cheap, It is easy, and it looks like pure health in a bag. But frozen vegetables have already been at the center of major Listeria scares, including mixed vegetable products sold through Woolworths. Here is what most people do not know. Freezing does not kill Listeria. If the vegetables are contaminated at the factory, the bacteria can simply pause in the freezer and start up again once you thaw or undercook them. When you toss a handful of frozen vegetables into a quick stir-fry or microwave them lightly, you might not be heating them enough to fully kill whatever is there. In the past, specific batches of mixed vegetables and corn sold in major Australian supermarkets, including Woolworths' home brand lines, have been recalled because they were linked to an international Listeria contamination issue. Think about how you actually use those bags. Do you boil them hard for several minutes every time, or do you throw in a handful and hope the quick reheat is enough? The Essentials branding tells you this is the smart, everyday choice. But when a low-cost bulk mix may have been imported, processed in large factories, and then sat in freezers for months, the margin for error is not in your favor. And if you are now thinking, fine, I will go super fresh and grab bagged salad instead, that has to be better, number 5 is exactly the reality check you need. Number 5. Woolworths bagged salads and baby spinach. Bagged salads and baby spinach are the halo products of Woolworths. You see words like fresh, washed and ready to eat, crisp and crunchy. You feel healthy just putting them in your trolley. But behind that healthy image, pre-washed salad mixes are well known for Salmonella scares, Listeria detections, and whole batches being pulled from shelves because of contamination at salad processing plants. Here is why they are such a problem. Leaves are washed, chopped, and tumbled in big industrial facilities. Any bacteria that are present can be spread across thousands of bags in a single production run. Warm transport, condensation in the bag, and time in your refrigerator all create a moist, controlled environment that is perfect for bacteria to spread. If you have ever opened a bag of salad and noticed a slimy feel on some leaves or a sour smell, you have seen the end of that process. The bag might still technically be within the date, but the product is already breaking down. Yet the marketing tells a very different story, with phrases like ready to eat and no need to wash, as if skipping a simple rinse under the tap is doing you a favor. If you are buying Woolworths branded salad bags and baby spinach every week, and especially if you eat them without any extra washing or cooking, you are placing a lot of blind trust in a very long and complex supply chain. And if you are thinking, okay, I will just stick to carbohydrates like bread and wraps, they are at least safe and simple, wait until you see what is going on with number 4. Number 4. Long-life bread, wraps, and bakery products with mold issues. Bread should be one of the simplest foods in the supermarket. Flour, water, salt, and yeast. 4 ingredients, maybe some seeds if you feel fancy. But many Woolworths branded sliced loaves, wraps, and long-life bakery items are made with preservatives to keep mold away for weeks, emulsifiers to make the crumbs super soft, and added sugars and vegetable oils to improve texture. Even with all that, mold can still develop inside sealed products, sometimes before the date is up, if storage or temperature has not been ideal. You might only notice it when you open the pack and see spots or smell something musty. Mold is not always visible right away. If you see it in one place, the invisible roots can already be spreading through the rest of the loaf. Some molds produce toxins that you do not want in your regular diet, yet the packaging promises phrases like soft for longer, stays fresh, and perfect for school lunches. Fresh bread does not naturally last for weeks. If your loaf or your wraps can sit on the bench for half a month without changing, that is not a good sign. That is a red flag that you are buying shelf life, not just food. So if you rely on the very cheapest long-life loaves and tortillas from Woolworths to feed your family every day, it might be time to ask what you are really paying for. And if you are telling yourself, at least I'm offsetting that with healthy options like yogurts and better cereals, number 3 shows how even the healthier-looking Woolworths brands can let you down. Number 3. Woolworths branded healthy yogurts and cereals. This is where the marketing becomes really sneaky. You walk past the dairy refrigerator and see low-fat yogurts with fruit pictures and health star ratings. You see granolas and cereals with phrases like whole grain, source of fiber and source of iron splashed across the box. The Woolworths macro line and other house brands often look more natural than the big multinational brands. But if you flip those tubs and boxes over and actually look at what is inside, you will often find very high sugar content, sometimes more sugar per 100 grams than some desserts. You see fruit preparations that are mostly sugar, starch and flavoring with a small amount of fruit. You see highly refined grains baked into crunchy clusters with vegetable oil and syrup. The front of the pack shouts high in calcium, less fat and multi-grain goodness. But the nutrition panel quietly reveals multiple teaspoons of sugar per serve, very little fiber and hardly any protein in some breakfast cereals that are basically sweet biscuits in a box. Many Australians genuinely believe they are doing the right thing when they fill the trolley with Woolworths brand yogurts and cereals instead of obvious junk like biscuits and chocolates. But if those healthier products are loaded with added sugar and ultra-processed carbohydrates, your body does not care which aisle they came from. If your child starts the day with a big bowl of sugar-heavy cereal and a sweetened yogurt, that is a blood sugar roller coaster before 9 in the morning, every single day. So ask yourself this: if this is the healthy end of the Woolworths aisle, what does that say about the rest of it? And if you thought dairy and cereal can be sneaky, but at least your meat and barbecue products are solid, wait until you hear what is happening with number 2. Number 2. Cheap processed meats and deli packs, ham, bacon, salami, shaved turkey. The Woolworths refrigerator is full of neat plastic-wrapped packs, ready to throw in a sandwich or on a pizza. They are cheap, they are convenient, and they are incredibly popular, but there are some big problems hiding behind those resealable stickers. First, the additives. Most of the cheaper Woolworths brand and value-processed meats contain nitrites and nitrates, preservatives to keep the color pink and extend shelf life, and starches and flavor enhancers to bulk out the meat. Those nitrites are what keep your ham that nice rosy color instead of turning a natural gray. And they help stop dangerous bacteria like the one that causes botulism. They are not used for no reason. But when they react with proteins in the meat during processing and cooking, they can form compounds called nitrosamines, which many health authorities link to an increased long-term cancer risk when intake is high. That is one reason why processed meat in general is now classed by major health agencies as carcinogenic to humans when eaten regularly, and something we should be limiting, not eating every day. Second, there is the recall risk. Processed meats, especially when eaten straight from the pack, have a track record of Listeria contamination in manufacturing plants. Undeclared allergens like milk or egg sneaking into plain sausages or frankfurts, and labeling errors. If you have allergies, or if someone in your family has a weaker immune system, that is not a small detail. Third, there is the illusion of portion control. Those neat 200-gram and 400-gram packs make it very easy to overuse processed meat. It is cheap, it is sliced thin, and it is always there in the refrigerator. Before you know it, bacon and ham have gone from sometimes food to everyday filler at breakfast, lunch and snacks. So when you see a Woolworths processed meat pack on special for a very low price, remember that the low price is there for a reason. Good quality, minimally processed meat does not stay that cheap for that long. And if you are thinking, all right, I will switch to nicer options like smoked salmon, smoked trout, and fancy antipasto from Woolworths. That must be better. Number 1 is going to change the way you look at those premium products forever. Number 1, smoked fish and high-risk chilled gourmet products. Smoked salmon, smoked ocean trout, and fancy antipasto packs are stacked right at eye level. They are what you grab for Christmas, brunch, or when you want to upgrade a meal. They look sophisticated, light, and good for you, but this is one of the most quietly risky corners of the entire store. Cold smoked fish, like most smoked salmon slices, is not cooked at a high enough temperature to reliably kill Listeria bacteria. It is salted, smoked at low temperatures, and then vacuum-packed. If Listeria is present, it can survive that process and even slowly multiply in the refrigerator over the product's shelf life. Food safety authorities specifically warn pregnant women, older people, and anyone with a weakened immune system to avoid ready-to-eat cold smoked fish because of this risk, or to only eat it if it has been cooked thoroughly. And yet, how often have you seen smoked salmon used on grazing boards for pregnancy events, smoked trout in sandwiches sold as the healthy premium choice, and smokehouse brands stocked at Woolworths being recalled for Listeria concerns? On top of that, many of these products are imported or rely on farmed fish from very intensive aquaculture systems, and they often contain extra preservatives or acidity regulators to manage shelf life, and they are eaten straight from the pack with no further cooking. The branding sells you words like artisan, traditional, and gourmet. The reality is a mass-produced product that sits in a high-risk category for some of the very people who are most likely to pick it up, thinking it is the cleaner option. So when you see that neat vacuum-sealed pack of smoked salmon with a Woolworths price tag, remember this. It might look like the classiest thing in your refrigerator, but for certain Australians, it is one of the riskiest, ready-to-eat foods in the store. The pattern you cannot ignore. Across these 7 Woolworths food categories, you can see the same pattern repeating. Ready to eat. High-risk products like seafood salad, smoked fish and bagged salads. Cheap, ultra-processed options like some frozen mixes, long-life bread and processed meats. Healthier-looking yogurts and cereals that are actually sugar bombs in disguise. It is not that Woolworths is uniquely evil, it is that the entire supermarket model often rewards long shelf life over freshness, low cost over ingredient quality, and marketing words over honest, short labels. If you shop on autopilot, you end up feeding yourself and your family from the most industrial parts of that system, the parts that are most likely to show up in recall lists and health warnings. But here is the good news. You do not have to give up Woolworths, you just have to change how you use it. Now let us talk about the Australian options that are actually worth your time. First, some quick upgrades you can make without even leaving Woolworths. Number 1. Choose real bread over long-life loaves. Skip the ultra-processed sliced bread that lasts for weeks. Instead, go to the in-store bakery section. Look for loaves with a proper crust, not plastic-wrapped foam. Check the ingredient list, and the fewer items, the better. If you see a list that basically says wheat flour, water, yeast, and salt, you have already done better than most of the pre-packed bread aisle. Number 2. Buy whole vegetables and whole salad leaves. Instead of bagged salad mixes and baby spinach trays, grab whole lettuce, cabbage, or bunches of spinach or silver beet. Rinse and chop them yourself. Yes, it is a small amount of extra work, but you dramatically cut down your exposure to one of the most recall-prone categories in the store. Number 3. Swap processed meats for real protein. If you can, buy actual cuts of meat, chicken or fish and cook them yourself. Use leftover roast meat in sandwiches instead of relying on very cheap ham and lunch meat. When you do buy deli meat, look for options with no added nitrites where possible and treat them as an occasional treat, not a daily filler. Number 4. Rethink healthy yogurts and cereals. Before anything goes in the trolley, check the sugar per 100 grams and per serve. Aim for unsweetened or low-sugar yogurts and add your own fruit. Choose cereals or granolas, where the first ingredient is an actual whole grain, not sugar. Number 5. Be picky with seafood and smoked fish. If someone in your home is pregnant, older, or has a compromised immune system, it is safer to avoid cold smoked fish entirely, or only use it rarely and from brands you have researched, and ideally only after cooking it. Choose cooked fish instead, like tins of plain salmon or tuna in spring water, or fresh fish you bake or grill yourself. How to protect your trolley and your family. Australian food culture drifted from fresh bread, real meat and whole vegetables, to ready-to-eat tubs, bagged greens, engineered low-fat yogurts, and vacuum-sealed fish that can sit for weeks. We traded time and attention for convenience and marketing. And slowly, without noticing, we filled our trolleys with foods that are more about logistics than nourishment. You do not have to become paranoid, you do not have to boycott Woolworths. But you do need to start flipping every pack around and actually reading the label. Be extra cautious with anything ready to eat that lives in the refrigerator for days. And treat big green logos and health claims as advertising, not as truth. If this video made you want to go and check what is actually in your refrigerator and pantry from Woolworths, tap like so more Australians see it. If you want more deep dives that call out hidden risks in everyday supermarket foods and show you the simple swaps that protect your plate and your family, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications right now and tell me in the comments which Woolworths product shocked you the most. Have you ever found mould, foreign objects, or had to throw out a recalled product from your own kitchen? Share your story below, because the more we talk about this, the harder it becomes for any supermarket to hide behind nice packaging and a friendly logo. This video is for general information and opinion only. It is not medical advice, it is not nutrition advice, and it is not a substitute for talking to a qualified health professional about your own situation.